Bonjour and welcome to all you comic book geeks, readers and collectors, and this one is for the collectors. I know you could read back issues as well, but you know what I mean, because this is my back issue haul for this week. I'm having a really good run at the moment. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but there has been some great stuff available, and the two at the moment, it's mainly my old mate Jamie at New Dawn Comics in Rayleigh, Essex. I was going to say ably assisted by his faithful assistant, but she was hungover when I picked this lot up. She was there. She was physically there, shall we say. Yes. Let's agree on that one. Anyway. And also my old mate Paul over at Comics. When they get runs in, they do let me. They just say, Roy, you interested in this? I say, yeah. Mention my real name then. They say, Hog, do you fancy this? And I say, yes. Anyway, they put them by, and you know the shtick, the layaway scheme. So anyway, I have got some more Fantastic Four, because you know if you follow my channel, thank you if you are, you sexy subscriber, you. And I've got Thor, Fantastic Four and Thor. Few more of them each, just in the mix, and then we're going to move from the Bronze Age to the Modern Age, to our old mate Wolverine. Oh, and what a run it is. It's a fantastic run. I picked up half of it, other half next week, so part one of the Wolverine run through, snipped, run through. Shall we get on with it? Yes, I hear you cry. Yes, Hog, please, would you show us some beautiful Fantastic Fours from 1976? Well, here you go. Let's start off with this issue. Roy Thomas, Sal Buscema, just the classic stuff. You know, continuing on last week. Same team. Weren't it great when an High Evolutionary in this story in Galactus, he's trying to get hold of Counter Earth, because he's fed up, keep attacking Earth and keep getting defeated. Look at this one as an odd bod. Suddenly, Thomas and Buscema are doing a lovely run, and then suddenly they have these odd bods pop up. Jack Kirby cover. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not moaning. It's just weird how they pop up. And George Perez on the interior art. I think people forget about this kind of intermittent run he did on FF. I mean, I know I do. You kind of think that he come along with like New Teen Titans and Wonder Woman for DC, but no, he was a few years earlier on these lovely FFs. Ron Wilson in this one. I mean, Joe Sinnott inking Ron Wilson. I mean, Joe Sinnott has been on this comic from year dot. This was a reprint. There was on the splash page, it did mention something about someone was ill. And you can imagine the intensity of the deadlines back in this day. Pumping. And these were guys, people like Sal Buscema. And it's more the artist than the writer. So that reprints, this one reprints issue 101. Well, fun roots. Good issue, to be fair. Very, very good issue. But you can imagine the pressure they're under. Ron Wilson and Sinnott again in this one. Yeah, and I know, the word classic is overused, I think, but we're still in a classic era of FF, in my opinion. You got the Lee Kirby era, and then obviously in the 70s things changed, but this is still a great one. Now, the list of talent in this comic blew me away and it's Bill Mantlo is credited as being the scripter. Now you've got Len Wein, Jim Shooter and Archie Goodwin as plotters. So you've got four concocting the story, and then you've got Sal Buscema and Joe Sinnott on inks. Joe Sinnott of decades long standing, and obviously Sal Buscema, who is what a roster. Can you imagine if Marvel had rosters of that talent now? Oh, Please, Marvel, come on, sort yourself out. Bill Mantlo on the script again, Sal Buscema on the penciling. Like I say, it's the classic. It's the, classic era. Here we go with the Eliminator. And this is the issue where Len Wein starts off, and he's the new writer on it, and he's also editing, which he's capable of. Don't get me wrong, he's more than capable of writing and editing his own work at this point. I mean, come on, who's going to argue with Len Wein? Oh, that story's not quite strong, Len, me old mate. No one's going to say that. And George Perez on the pencils. It's lovely stuff. Wein and Perez again. Ask me if I can show you some classic FF, that isn't Lee Kirby. And the past few weeks, I have been showing you Wein Perez again. I have been showing you a lovely run, beautiful run. This is the stuff that made my Marvel back in the day. Do you know what I mean? More Wein and Perez. And it's all going on the cover. Like I said last week, like the cover of the week comes from this stuff where they had to sell books and attract attention and grab the money off of the kids. Do you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that if inside it's full of action and intrigue. And anyway, that's the end of my little FF haul. And then we go on to Thor and our old mate Len Wein. He was a busy boy. This is what I mean about the artists and the writers. So Len Wein, I mean, this is a year like this is 1977. He's writing on this. On the art duties is Walter Simonson, and this is in 77, a lot earlier. When I think of Simonson and Thor, I think of that later run where his style has developed into that angular style that we know and I enjoy. His style here, he's cut and he's inked by Ernie Chan, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful. I've got to say, Ernie Chan's inks I've always admired anyway. When he was inking on Conan but what was Simonson's work on this? He's being inked by Tony DeZuniga. So his artwork, poor old Simonson, his work on this looks like Tony DeZuniga. But and Ernie Chan's making his work look like Ernie Chan. But what I think because, and Wein's, Len Wein's on the writing, but I think it's because what Simonson's trying to do early on in his career, it looks like, and don't get me wrong, he's a good artist in his own right, but I think he's trying to ape John Buscema's style. So the inkers like DeZuniga, Tony DeZuniga is inking him again on this. Wein on a wonderful run. They just kept the creative team in situ on the title. Like I say, another lesson for Marvel to learn, not keep jumping all over the shop and plan it in advance. I know things do happen, but even if it's 6 or 8 story arc, surely you can plan in advance for an artist to stay on for 6 issues. So yeah, he was trying to. This was and it does take time for artists to develop their style, and I suppose maybe. And maybe one of out there, let me know. Maybe he was asked to, because Buscema's art was the style of the time. Perhaps it was Jim Shooter. I think Jim Shooter was editor-in-chief around now. We're talking 77, 78, aren't we? Yeah. So was it a diktat from on high? Buscema's, everyone likes, the fans like Buscema's work. We want that. Don't know. But this was just a lovely run of Simonson and DeZuniga and Len Wein scripting it. And you can a little hark back to the floating heads of yesteryear. My little sexy Wanda is back in it. Got a little soft spot for her. You know I have by now anyway, didn't you? Into 1978 now. Roy Thomas has taken over the writing duties, and if ever there was a man, and John Buscema's back, so you've got the team of Roy Thomas, John Buscema, and being inked by Tom Palmer, who, if you're not familiar with the name, He's the guy who I really enjoy inking Gene Colan, particularly on that Dracula run, which would have predated this. But a new team. Oh, Ragnarok, Loki's stirring it all up. He's stirring it all up, and he's going to cause Ragnarok. And this is the era of Loki I like. I like Loki with the horns. This is a funny cover. Thor versus Thor. Perhaps Roy Thomas had his tongue in his cheek there. But it's Buscema and Tom Palmer. Again, they've swapped creative teams, but what a creative team. This was just an odd issue where Chick Stone replaces Tom Palmer on the inking. And then Hyperion turning up. And a guy. Now, in this one, you know, and you really helped me out, so thank you for that, because I've thrown out a few names for you guys. There's a guy called Wayne Boring. I think I would have created a pseudonym, wouldn't you? Wayne Boring. Anyway, it's a name I don't recognise, and I don't think I've ever seen before. He's the guest penciler on this. Tom Palmer's inking him. So, you know, you could be an average penciler, and Tom Palmer's going to sort you out, and he does. Anyway, I'll leave you with that little question. If anyone's ever heard of Wayne Boring, and don't just Google it and tell me, because I could do that. I will know if it is comic knowledge stored in your head. I will know. Or if it's just, I'll Google Wayne Boring and I'll let the hog know. Oh, come on. Use I need you comic book aficionados to just go, yeah, Wayne Boring. Why has the hog never heard of that? Anyway, should we get on to some sexy Wolverine? Oh, here we go. 1988. This kind of came along and blew everything away, didn't it? In 88, Modern Age of Marvel. Come on. Chris Claremont, John Buscema, inked by Al Williamson. Another dream team. Come on, this was when Marvel was just knocking them out of the park. There we go. And it was just classic Wolverine. And surprisingly, what surprised me about these, kind of just leafing through them, obviously I'm rereading the odd few, but I can't read through. There are a couple missing as well, so forgive me if I kind of skip the creative team or something. There's only a couple of issues, but you know, obviously Claremont can write. I would say with his Wolverine with his eyes shut, but that would be a little bit problematic. But what a team! When Al Williamson inking, come on, you look at his exquisite art, and he can ink. You know, actually, he inks Buscema as if Buscema had inked himself. To be fair, that I can't see a hint, which in a way is a bit of a shame. You can't see a hint of Al Williamson in it, which is a shame. But anyway, he stays on board. Like I say, that creative team. Sinkovich is inking here. And I noticed that Ken Brusnak is on the lettering. I mean, I don't know why I should or shouldn't have noticed it before or what, but who done such a job on that name will be seared in my head for American Flag back in the day. Oh, that lettering he did for that. And that is one of Jamie's famous labels, by the way, on that. First battle with Sabretooth. Yay! Sinkovich cover there, as only Sinkovich can do it. And then it goes on sale fortnightly. So, all right, okay. But what you notice is that they have 6-issue story arcs. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what makes sense. So they go fortnightly, but they've obviously planned it to cash in. You know, I don't blame them. They're publishers. DC done the same recently with Superman going, or Action Comics going weekly. You know, you slap your head and think, why? Anyway, they've got to sell books. They've got to make money. Nice Kevin Nolan covers as well. First Peter David and Sinkovich inking Buscema. But what they did, there we go, another Nolan cover. It's great. Just great covers, great art, great writing, great storytelling. like I say, Marvel when they could knock it out of the park. And these would be selling in their, you know, gazillions. Lovely stuff. And it's Wolverine how it should be done. And what I did notice, sorry, I digressed. What I did notice is that Claremont was kind of keeping it quite violent. In the first issue, he kind of lays waste to 100 pirates on some island near Madripoor. And you think, like, yes, come on, this is what we want to see. We want to see Snick and the Berserker Rage and all the rest of it. That's what we want to see. And he delivers. Claremont delivers a violent Wolverine. So what you notice they do is one creative team. So they kept that 6 issues, same creative team. Then they swapped to John Byrne, Archie Goodwin. You know, this is what I mean about talent. Archie Goodwin writing, John Byrne on the pencils, and Klaus Janson on the inking. Recurring new kind of villain for Wolverine. John Byrne doing the covers. And again, I'd forgotten that Byrne done a run, and you know, I will say though, and I'm a massive fan of John Byrne, on the FF and anyway X-Men and etc., all DC stuff, the Superman. I followed his career more or less from day one, from when he done Rock 2000 for, I think it was Charlton. Anyway, I followed the man's, and do you know what? This is my least favourite. I don't think his art style suited Wolverine. Doesn't that sound weird? I'm not saying it's crap. I'm just saying, if I had to do a top 10 of John Byrne's greatest hits, I don't think Wolverine's going to be in it. I kind of can't wait for Gene Colan, Peter David writing, Gene Colan on the interior artwork. Yeah, John Buscema's back, and Joe Duffy's writing this little run. Klaus Janson penciling this one. So you're getting a good. Is that Nola? Oh, Silvestri. For a minute there, it looked like. Now Larry Hama is writing now, and Mark Silvestri. Now this is a run of comics. This is a run, guys. With Silvestri, look at that cover. And I did like the time travel aspect to one of these stories. Goes back to 1937, so he could kill some Nazis. I think it was set in South America. But here we go. It's just Hammer and Silvestri. And he's gone and found a cyborg copy of himself. Oh, look at this cover. Now, if there is a cover to sell comics, guys, drink that in. Wolverine, Sabretooth, Cable. Enough said. Look at that. That's a cover. And so is this, to be fair. That's a beautiful cover. I'm not saying it's the most action-packed one. Design-wise, I think... Did they change the logo then? No, they didn't. Well, they've changed the logo to this. I don't know why they've done that. And then gone back to the old logo, the next issue. Still a great cover, though. And Wolverine's the character that makes it good. You're never going to do him standing around, are you, looking pensively into the middle distance. Oh, look at this. That's Silvestri as well. Yeah. Silvestri was on fire. And a brilliant artist. This deserved to be a hit. The creative teams they put on there, Home is the Hunter, look. Yeah, so they went back to the old, and then they're going for the new logo. I don't know what they're doing here. And then back to the old logo again. Maybe it's what fit. Maybe the new logo weren't going to fit, and Silvestri had done these before they redesigned the logo. I don't know. Anyway, who cares about the logo if you're getting Larry Hama on the writing and Mark Silvestri doing the artwork? Look at these covers. Absolutely sensational. Early 90s now. Where are we now? I suppose we must be 90, 91 now, mustn't we? Yeah, we're 91 now. So this is the era. And they've gone for that logo again. They've made the logo bigger behind anyway. I'm loving the feral Wolverine, as only Silvestri can do. Love this issue. Love this issue. I did have a little look inside, and I did put this on Threads. And I tell you what, it's the post I put. I just thought, oh, I'll put the cover on because it was a card stock. This is a card stock cover, and that's holes in it, so you kind of peel that off, and then you can see the full classified. It says here like top secret. You can see the classified picture, and then the splash page is Wolverine on his motorbike. But yes, come on, drawn by Mike Silvestri. Yes. Andy Kubert cover. Just to give Silvestri a little breather, but he's back on this one. Still doing all the art inside. Time, Space, and Mojo 2. This comic had some mojo. Needed claws then, didn't I? Perhaps I can do some special effects. Snicked. Yeah. And we will end. We're in the 90s now, guys. You know, we started off in 1976 or 7. We're going to end up in the 90s with a little bit of lenticular action. Look at that. If you haven't got foil, you needed lenticular covers, didn't you? Yeah, come on. Of course we did. Of course we did. Did it make us buy more comics? Of course it did. Anyone who tells you they weren't attracted by those sexy foil covers, do you remember when Image was going mad, Marvel was going mad? I don't know if these, I literally wasn't getting anything from them back in the day. I am now, so don't come at me. But Image and Marvel certainly were having a ball with a bit of foil, weren't they? I don't know how many recycling bins got all that foil back. I hope they did. A lot of them weren't worth the foil it was written on. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, and as much as I will, because I will continue to enjoy these until I get my next bundle. Which, to be fair, I know I'm kind of bursting a little balloon here, but I'll have the second half. I'll have finished this run right up to issue 100 and something of Wolverine next week, and I will have a few more of the old stuff. Oh, actually, I think I might have finished the run of FFs now, but Thor certainly. Anyway, I'll see if I can get something different. If not, you don't have to watch, dear. I'll buy what I want. I don't know why I got all indignant at the end of my own video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you as always to my sexy subscribers. You know how much I love you. You do. So, until next time, I will bid you all adios.